Next, we have the Integrated Human Resource and Financial System. Who's doing that?
It's Lynn Richards.
Okay, Mr. Richardson. Oh, you need to-
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, I would like to say that in an effort to be efficient, I didn't bring you copies of this overhead that I'm about to present to you, but the truth is I was working on it right prior to coming in here and I completely forgot, but I will email them to you ASAP.
Building somebody else's shoes. Okay?
As Mr. Turner pointed out, I've been on the job now approximately, I guess I've started my 8th month, and pardon me, coming into the district, I noticed that we are very reliant on manual systems, paper, and as part of looking at and going through the budget process this year, I recognize the need to try to increase some efficiencies in the district. Will it result in cost savings? I would say yes. Will it result in a lower bottom line? Probably not. But what it will do is allow us to reallocate, hopefully, some of our resources to continue the betterment of our classrooms, as Mr. Gant pointed out. That's my goal here, is to make sure that we're getting everything to the classroom that we possibly can. I'm going to go through very briefly just to show you where we are and where we'd like to go. Currently, where are we? Well, we have, a lot of, like I said, a lot of increased scrutiny from federal, state government. Obviously, transparency is a big item. The public needs access to our information. School board, district administrators, just general public are always wanting more and more information. What we're talking about here is not just a finance system. It's not just a district office system. This is a district-wide analysis and a system that will hopefully help us across the district to make our lives a little easier so we can focus on the jobs that we should really be doing. By looking at some of these things, hopefully we'll be able to look at our data needs for our business functions, for our schools, to help our employees. We have a lot of things we deal with in the budget process. Right now, it's difficult for us to do multi-year analysis. I think you've seen with our capital budgets, that's a manual process where we're looking across fiscal years, where we're actually having to keep data in more than one system. We can't just print out a report that shows you from the beginning of our capital budget how it's gone. So we have to keep that up manually. So we're in 2 systems, which leaves room for, obviously, errors. I guess ultimately my vision is that we're going to have every employee in this district having some type of access to this system, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. Currently and I don't make any bones about it, and I've been asked several questions where, quite frankly, I have been unable to get the answer in a timely manner. It's just a result of having data in different places, in different systems. We are heavily reliant on paper, printed documents, forms. It's not an easy process to give reports in a format that's easily understandable, quite frankly, and it's not even easy for us right now in our current system to be able to take things and export it to, say, an Excel spreadsheet so we can sort it in a more easily understandable format for you. We currently have limited access or limited abilities to use current technologies with this system that we have in place. If we do modernize it, it's typically by add-ons to the current system, which means it's different systems that we're adding on. It's not an integrated, necessarily an integrated system. I don't know, the software we're currently using is probably 15 years old or older. I know I used the same product back in the 90s in my former life, and really nothing's changed, quite honestly, since then, except maybe a few screens that you look at, but the system itself hasn't changed much at all. So it's very, like I said, a very manual system. I just thought this was interesting. L. Ron Hubbard, the mind, when it has an old experience, will add the data into its current experience, and it keeps coming up with the wrong answers. That's kind of where we are right now. I mean, that just says it in a nutshell. I just thought it was interesting. And so, I think I went too far. Excuse me, I went too far. All right, we do have some potential savings for some of our resources. Obviously, we're running over 4 million copies a year in this school district. We're spending an incredible amount of money on ink toner, copiers, paper. It takes employee time to do all this. It takes time to get up and go to a copier and run them and take them and hand them out. We've got employee time with, as I say, paper handling, rehandling, and rehandling, ... because we do a tremendous amount of that. We do shuffle a lot of paper in this district. And then we've got courier time, running around the district trying to deliver board packets or taking things back and forth from school. So as you can see, we have some room for improvement. What can we do? Well, we can redesign our existing processes. What we're trying to do is come up with an electronic workflow system, which it will help us in a number of ways. One, by reducing the amount of paper and the amount of times it takes to get things done. As it stands now, it takes multiple people to do some of the things that are listed up here as far as purchasing, journal entries, payroll, HR. HR will take a document and they will key it, and then it'll go to payroll and they'll have to key it. So we've got several people touching the same information numerous times, which takes time, effort, once again leaves room for error. So once again, we're trying to make those processes better for us. We need an employee self-help module, which will help people do their expense reimbursements online. They can change their W-4 information. They'll be able to see their pay stubs. I said W-4 information. They'll be able to change, withholdings, that type of thing. Their W-2s, contracts. They'll be able to do surveys. There's unlimited amount of things the employee should be able to do with a new system. It gives us the ability to scan everything into the ERP, by the way, which is a electronic resource planning system. That's what ERP stands for. All of this information can be kept digitally. That way we're, once again, saving on paper, and we're freeing up storage space. It'll be this system will also allow us, or a system will be able to allow us to have more consistent data entry. In other words, we don't have multiple people keying the same information. It's keyed once. It's integrated. This information goes across the board. It allows us to have, easier, I guess, reporting capabilities. It's going to allow us to be able to merge data and sort it in different type ways and manipulate, not manipulate is probably not a good word to use, but be able to let us massage it to get it, so to get down to what we're looking for. Right now we have various systems that really don't communicate with each other. I think I talked about that a little bit, but there's going to be some reports that are going to be built in so that we can reproduce those whenever for, school board, for, principals, what have you. Also be able to, obviously do some unique reporting as well. And there'll be dashboards which will give upper level look at some of the things that are going on in the district at a, I guess at a high management levels, without getting too much into the weeds. And that's going to allow us to free up time, quite frankly, for people to be able to focus on doing their jobs the way they should be done, and not just, all right, Mark, what did I do? maybe I need a little bit of help with the electronic piece. The the what I would like and what I'm pushing for, if the board is in agreement, is to try to have a system in place by the beginning of next fiscal year. I'd like to be able to flip the switch, July 1, to start out fresh. It's going to allow us to. We've got a lot of older data that hadn't been cleaned up over the years that need to be cleaned up. It's going to allow us to start fresh. It's going to give us the ability to clean up a lot of this old data. Hopefully, it's going to allow us to get a better handle on our budgets on an annual basis so that we really see where things are going. As I think you've seen, I'm trying to align the budget to the way we are organized now. And, you know, this is just going to make it easier for us to be able to do that. Will we save money by doing this? Hopefully in the long run, yes, but it is going to cost money up front. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to guess it's going to be somewhere probably in the $500,000 range if we go with this integrated system. But like I said, it's going to allow our employees to have access to things. It's going to allow us to be able to hopefully be in compliance with the new ACA requirements that are coming in 2015. It's going to give us the ability to provide you more accurate information and hopefully allow us to reallocate some of those resources that we're currently spending on paper and copiers and printers and be able to use them where they need to be. My hope is to have a proposal to you in September so that if the board is in agreement, we can move forward and hopefully this July 1 date will be a reality. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Ms. Richardson, one of the things that's, I guess, has been unavoidable, and maybe this won't change it, but at least let me ask. We look at a budget in June, approving a budget in June, and we never really see, we don't get the benefit of seeing where we actually finish the year, and yet we're pretty close because you're able to give us monthly reports, but we approve a budget without the benefit of the final month's numbers coming in. And then we have the audit done, and we get a report, the board does November, so forth, September, November, something like that, to actually see how we did the previous year. And so when you're planning a budget without the benefit of some of that more current information, you're just sort of, you know, maybe throwing darts in the blind, I don't know. Would this system help that process, do you think, as far as being able to have more financial information available, that's more update for a board when they're looking at a budget? Do you think it can do forecasting better?
I would hope in the long run the answer to that is yes, but I don't think in the short term I don't think it's ever going to help the situation with the audits because that's just something that's going to happen. There are a lot of things that happen at the end of June, you know, through the time the audit's done that reflect back on that prior fiscal year. So you're never going to be able to, you know, be completely accurate. But I think, you know, going forward, we're going to be looking at things and be able to see things probably and have a better understanding on what's there. Whereas I think I've explained this year going through this budget process that, you know, there's some things that I see that I can't really put my finger on that I really don't understand why things are done the way they do. And I think it's a system issue that I think that's going to take some of those out of the way. So kind of, sort of, we'll be able to get a better handle on it, but never to the extent that what you're talking about.
Any other questions? Yes, Ms. Baumgartner.
I know one of the most amazing parts to me is when I found out that employees still turn in leave slips on manual carbon paper. I mean, I'm from the Stone Ages, but this is almost, you know, I'm surprised they're not having to carve it out on stone for you. But I know I know when my job had that, I can see where it was very easy to have leave slips lost, misread. How much time do you and the people in the schools have to spend trying to correct? And I mean, that can be a daunting task in and of itself, and it amazes me. Like even the state the state employees, have this system. It's not great, but it is electronic, and at least and when I found out that, the fact that the systems don't talk to each other, and even, like I said, with my limited technology skills, even I understand how necessary this is. And I'm glad it's being brought forward. I'm just real surprised y'all have done that well with this so long. But thank you for bringing this to our attention, Mr. Richardson.
Mr. Gant, did you?
I did. I was just going to ask you, and you may have said this, does this system exist, or we're designing what we need to put it out for bid, or just?
Well, there are a number of systems out there. Not too many of them are designed specifically for school districts. There are a couple. Currently in this state, we have 82 school districts, I guess, statewide. I would say probably 75% of them are using the system that we're currently using. There are a growing number of districts, however, that have been looking at other systems, and there's one in particular that you'll probably be hearing more about coming up that a lot of school districts have turned to. Our people are going to go be visiting these school districts to see how the conversions work and how it's working out for them now. They all seem to be very happy, and it's designed specifically for school districts. Saying that, there are some, of course, school board can do, whatever they wish as far as procurement goes, but I think that we probably are in a situation where we could not have a bid process in place, because this is really the only system I'm aware of out there that's specifically for school districts.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner?
Just one more. Your predecessor, Dr. Fulmer, mentioned to us that the healthcare laws would make some changes that would require us that our system was probably antiquated to be able to take that information and to use it easily. So this is part of that solution as well.
Yes, sir, it is part of that solution, but I do not want to mislead you, because that is not a part of this particular system we're talking about. But what it does do is interface with a couple of well-known online web-based type systems that handle employee leave, will track time and effort, that kind of thing. And the cost on those compared to this are really minimal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richardson. This has been most eye-opening, and I'm excited that, I think we're all excited that you've seen that there's some definite ways we can improve the way we do things in District 5. For the board
It's also nice that we're moving out of the Stone Age and
I
into
know.
the computer age.
That is very nice indeed. Just to remind the board members of your District 5 Foundation payroll deduction form. I know last year, that was in your board packet.
Who's it get turned into?
And I think we have one back there. Last year, we had 100% participation of donating to the District 5 Foundation. And there are a couple of different ways, but one is for the Meals Backpack program. And that led me to remember that we had a very exciting district event coordinated by Mr. Bounds in collaboration with several others, Stuff the Bus. And do you have any numbers that you can relate to us? And we had several school board members who also participated, standing out at Walmart.
Well, yes, ma'am, and I should have brought this up. What a testament to the district, and I do want to thank the board chair and other board members for working. This was a collaborative, a community effort to stuff the bus with food supplies for our snack pack program. We worked with community volunteers from Optimist and other organizations, the District 5 Foundation staffed, our own senior staff, and I think we had 8 or 9 principals that worked the stuff the bus. Our transportation department provided the buses and bus drivers. Our social workers were hard at work organizing the school supplies to get to our students. We know we have about over 600, I think at last count, 624 students being served by the snack pack program. And so this is providing sustenance for those kids. I mean, and if you've ever gone hungry, you know how important that is to your learning environment. And so we just want to thank our community, thank the board members that participated, our senior staff and principals. And I don't have a final count, but I can tell you this, when the social workers walked in the room with all the school supplies, they were like kids in a candy store, and they said, we've gotten so many calls already for students that don't have any school supplies at all. And so I could tell you anecdotal stories all day. A gentleman came out of the Walmart with a cart full, and he said, I saw this on the news. He didn't buy a thing for himself. He just turned the cart over to our workers. So we want to, it's another testament to the great community we live in. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. Turner?
Ms. Watson, I did hear one report that they went in and counted one bus, and they would count if there were a glue stick. There might be one glue stick, or there might be a package with 10 glue sticks in it. That was all counted as one item. So you might have a pack of pencils that has 24 pencils in it. That was one item. And they estimate there were over 10,000 items multiplied by the number of contents in those. So they counted a pack of 24 pencils as one item, and they counted 10,000 items.
And that was just in one bus?
No, that was the two buses
The two
combined.
buses.
Just for the school supplies.
Just for
And
the school
The
supplies.
snack packs is another whole series of weeks that provided.
That really is exciting, and it was great to see the community just came out and really donated, and all the people that helped. So thank you very much. It was great to have District 5 out in the community doing things for our students. Anything else from the board
What's the
members?
beginning date on this?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
No, it says beginning.
I said as soon as possible. Yeah.
I thought you wanted them back as soon as possible.
I know.
I can tell it's past
Trying to
8:30.
figure out what day we put in there.
Wee hours.
It is the wee hours.
I just went ahead and put the days.
I'll take a motion to adjourn. Mr. White,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
is there a second? Ms. Bumgarner, second. Same discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, please raise your hands.
Yes, sir.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
This is different. Nothing that changes.